Morning, good morning, good morning. Just getting things going on YouTube. Get right into it. What's going on, everybody? Good morning and welcome back to Dirty Degens. I'm your host, Josh, and today we do have quite a bit of market stuff to go over, some tariff escalation things, and also who the heck sold Bitcoin and dumped it down to 78K? Well, we think we've got it figured out. So let's go ahead and jump right into all of that. And I'll stick around for a little bit, answer some questions and things like that, because after all, it is hump day. So let's go. Let's hop in. Gotta manage two different platforms here. So one sec. All right. So first things first, today on the docket would be Powell's speech at the Economic Club of Chicago. We don't have a lot of economic news that's coming in today, but all eyes are definitely on Powell because this is his first speech since it came out that Trump is looking to replace him and that they're already looking at somebody to appoint. So he might have some comments on that. He said before he would not step down from his job, but Trump is pushing him very hard to cut interest rates and making his job a little bit more difficult with tariffs as well. So it'll be very interesting to see what kind of stance we get from Powell today. Could it be hawkish? Could it be dovish? We'll only have to find out. Right now, the economy is not in a great spot, so I do expect him to still be dovish. We can pull it up too real quick here and see the Fed rate cut probabilities. It has been dropping like a rock. So, and the news today, I'm sure, the news today did not help it any further. And what is that news though? Tariff news, of course. Tokyo in Japan, well, Japan, it's just from Tokyo, but Japan is actually really wanting to play ball because you have to figure Japan is the largest holder of US debt and one of the largest investors in American companies. So they're really trying to play ball. Some of the things that they're trying to do to get these tariffs dropped are suggesting that they'll spend 2% of GDP every year buying military things from the US. They want to raise their investments and what they're buying in the US, even though they're not happy with the situation, mostly because they just want all this to go away for them, right? It's easier to play ball than to fight back, in their opinion. So that's what they're looking to do. So we could see the Japan tariffs start to die down quite a bit here in the near future. Those talks are starting, I think they started like yesterday. So we'll see how they progress here in short term, but sounds like good. Sounds good. Also, this is just showing you how long Japan has been a major bondholder for the US. They're in this blue line here. Every once in a while, they flip back and forth with China. China's in the red, but for the past 5 years now, Japan has been the largest holder of US bonds, while we can see China is selling off. And if we zoom this in a bit more, China threatened to sell off. However, they did not really start according to this data set anyways. Aside from that, the big deal going on right now is China. That's what everybody's talking about. That's the major thing that's pressuring markets right now. And that's what the current issue is. And it's not looking good, not looking good at all. Trump is actually calling out China saying, we don't need to make a deal with you. You need to make a deal with us. So you need to come and give us an attractive deal so that we're willing to play ball with you. And it's not necessarily incorrect. If you look at how the purchase flow really goes, we import like 5 times more than we export to China. So China having tariffs on us does not impact us nearly as much. And China, they seem like they want to play ball. They acted like they wanted to play ball. And then they started throwing some retaliation things in and replaced the negotiator that they had going on. And that kind of upset Washington. And they're not very happy about how that's going. And that just happened overnight here. And what did Trump do? Trump responded saying, that they are facing up to 245% tariffs now on imports. So Trump is raising the tariffs 100% basically, and it's getting pretty ugly. So will this entice China, or is this going to cause China to continue doing what they have been doing, threatening selling off bonds? And what I'm going to get into next, because what I'm going to get into next is very damning, and it makes a lot of sense if you think about it, because China wants to get back at the US economy any way they absolutely can. And there's multiple ways to affect it. You know, you can sell off bonds, you can implement tariffs, or there's something new that recently came into the US economy that a lot of different companies in the US have been betting on, or now you've got the US government betting on it. And what is that? Obviously, that would be Bitcoin. Before I get into that, though, it is good to see that finally, after 7 days of red, we've had 2 days of inflows for the US Bitcoin ETFs. And actually, before this inflow day here, it wasn't supposed to do that. Before this inflow day here on this April 2nd, it was like another 10 days of red outflow day. So it's good that we're finally getting some green going on Bitcoin ETFs. The market uncertainty is wavering a little bit, but not fully. That's for sure. Now, what kind of starts to lead into this is China basically de-dollarizing, right? They're getting rid of the US dollar. What are they doing? They're trading with Russia, with India, and these other countries as they created the BRICS nations and whatnot. And they're starting to rely less and less on the US dollar. And many reports have been going around that they're actually using Bitcoin for transactions, such as China does not want the Russian ruble. So, hey, pay us some Bitcoin. And then what do? They send it over to a private entity that takes it to a US market, sells it into dollars, brings it back to China, transfers it into yuan, and there they go. So that's ultimately what they're doing. And they're saying by the end of 2025, central banks will be holding 2.5% of assets in Bitcoin if it continues at this pace. And yeah, some people say that's a bad thing because it's people getting rid of the dollar. In my opinion, it's everybody flocking to Bitcoin. So it's not all bad, not all bad at all. But to lay into this some more, there have been reports and reportedly proof from Reuters states that there's been proof that China has actually been the one behind selling off the Bitcoin, because China holds about 190,000 Bitcoin. They've held them for years, and they're all from confiscations. And they basically put on a trading ban in about 2018 or so. So you can't mine, you can't trade. And what they've been doing is what I just said. They've been sending it off to private entities. Those private entities bring it into the US market. US market sells it, and then back into China, right? And they're doing this to strengthen their economy because of all these tariffs and everything like that. It's greatly impacting their economy. So they've got to get money from somewhere. And it makes sense that they're going to dip into the billions of dollars that they have that they confiscated. That's basically free money to them. So not good, but we can definitely see that the sell-off has started to subside. Bitcoin's still holding strong at 84K. It recovered from that 78K we were at about a week ago. So it's looking good. Hopefully we can get some calmness on the tariffs, and hopefully they can come to an agreement and we'll stop seeing this push, because China can use selling Bitcoin as another way to attack the United States. The United States wants to keep a strategic reserve. You've got all the states that are trying to come up with strategic reserves. You got different US companies that are largely betting on Bitcoin. I think there's only one Chinese public company that is currently investing in Bitcoin, and that just happened like 3 days ago. So, and then there's the couple in Hong Kong, but really it wouldn't impact them nearly as much. Could you imagine if they took down MicroStrategy, they crushed Bitcoin and just like collapsed MicroStrategy, or all these states that suddenly they decide to buy, 5% of their holdings in Bitcoin, and they invest, 100, $200 million in Bitcoin. And then China just decides to sell all. Like, that's another way that they can attack the US for sure. Hopefully we don't see it get to that, but it makes a lot of sense that China was behind the sell-off. I actually did predict that in the beginning, but there's no way to tell. What's going on, Matthew 9000? Good morning, sir. Hopefully you guys can hear me all good over on the Arena. This is my first time successfully streaming on the Arena. Hopefully it's working solid. But aside from that, we did actually just have a new Japanese public company that bought Bitcoin for their balance sheet. It's not a lot, it's 5 Bitcoin, but hey, that's still like $400,000, right? So that's still a lot of money. And it's getting started. This is how MetaPlanet started. I believe MetaPlanet's first buy was like 2 Bitcoin, and now they're buying hundreds at a time. So it just goes to show you that the Bitcoin adoption is spreading. It's not all bad. In fact, it's actually much more good than bad. So love to see that as well. And there's more companies that are wanting to buy. Semlar Scientific, they've been buying Bitcoin. And in fact, they're down pretty bad on their Bitcoin purchases they have made. Actually, they're down 41 million on their Bitcoin they bought, but they see that as an opportunity. If you're down and you believe it, what do? You double down. So they're raising $500 million in security sales so that they can buy $500 million more in Bitcoin. It goes to show you that despite the market activities and how the current market is looking, people see it as an opportunity. These corporations and these companies that have economic or that have market advisors and treasury advisors that are skilled and seasoned in the markets, they're not afraid of these little dips that come around, right? We didn't even have a big dip. We had like a 27% drawdown, which I know that might feel big to some people. We went from 6 digits to 5, but still not all bad. And a lot of people are looking to double down in that time. You've got MetaPlanet actually that's bought 3 times this month alone, and they're planning a 4th buy because the timing was right. Whereas MicroStrategy, Sailor always says, I only buy the tops. So he's not buying. But more Bitcoin holders, we've got Matt Cole of Strive Asset Management. He's actually the one that wrote a letter to GameStop CEO to adopt Bitcoin, and it happened a short few days later. So currently he's going back and forth with Intuit, who owns MailChimp, trying to convince them to buy Bitcoin as well. It's a little bit of a tricky situation here, though, with Intuit, because Intuit has historically been rather anti-Bitcoin and anti-crypto. And reportedly, or not reportedly, but also MailChimp is definitely anti-Bitcoin and anti-crypto. They have also suspended accounts that are using their services for Bitcoin communities and things like that. We actually, with Cryptos R Us, we used MailChimp back in 2020, and we also got suspended. So we switched to a different provider and never had an issue again. So they're trying to fight through that. The company or the community that did get banned, this was years ago, they were reinstated after a bunch of public backlash and things like that. So they did look past it, but I think it's going to be a pretty tough sell to get into it to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet. So, hey, if he got a dinosaur like GameStop to go in, though, maybe they can do it with MailChimp too. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Now there has been some concerns though with miners. There's a couple different miners that have came out and they've said they have had to sell. That does put obviously more sell pressure on Bitcoin, but largely more often than not, these miners, since they're selling such a large amount, they're selling OTC. And as we all know, selling OTC or buying OTC does not really impact the market. Now, in the past, there have been some miners that will fat finger sells on the open market, but that's just part of an open market, right? But the problem is that the cost to mine, right, is going up and the price is staying flat or was down. So these sales actually happened about a week and a half ago. They're talking about on April 7th. And that was right before we basically bottomed at that like 78K area when tariffs started to pick up pretty heavy again. And yeah, so as expected, when cost to mine is high and the profitability of mining goes heavily down, what do so that they can operate? They sell some Bitcoin. So you've got China and you got miners that are selling Bitcoin. I don't know anybody that's selling Bitcoin. I've got retail friends that have just gotten in this year and they're not selling their Bitcoin. They're asking me, is it a good time to buy more or is it going to go lower? Should I buy more later? So yeah, it's the institutions like your ETF traders and miners and China. That's who's selling Bitcoin. It's that simple. Aside from that, though, we do have some positive stuff as well for Bitcoin. The Coinbase Premium is typically a lagging indicator, so it's usually a couple weeks behind, and that is starting to flip green. So hopefully that means that we're seeing a nice little recovery for a short-term bounce or a continuation back into the bull run. Yeah, it's just how much more expensive or cheap it is on Coinbase versus other exchanges, basically, because there's a large retail audience in the US. A lot of them use Coinbase. I even use Coinbase, even though a lot of people say I shouldn't. And yeah, so that's how that works. But also, I talked about this yesterday in my morning stream that Bitcoin was retesting the 50-week EMA. That's still happening. It's still holding it. So that's a positive. This typically is a good local bottom area. So we want to see it hold this and bounce off of it as it has many times in the past. Obviously it didn't here, but it did there, did there, did there. And every time it bounced, it has a nice solid run back up. So we definitely want to see more of that. And also, we've been talking about this in Crypto Pulse too, but Bitcoin is forming a inverse head and shoulders chart or pattern on the daily chart. And yeah, that can have a large breakout to the upside if this continues to form, but it's on the daily, so it will take a couple more days to play out entirely. Do also have some XRP news because ETFs are starting to pick up a little bit more. They're getting hotter. We've got different ETFs around the world. Yesterday in Canada, we had today in Canada, actually, we've got 3 Solana ETFs that are going live, and they're all spot ETFs. So everybody's wondering who will be next. And it's actually pretty obvious in the US that XRP will likely be next. XRP already has a 2x leveraged ETF. The SEC lawsuits are now cleared. And apart from that, it's also performing better than a lot of the other altcoins that are currently being suggested for ETFs. But who are those altcoins? We've got obviously Aptos has 1 filing, Cardano 1 filing, HBAR 1, Move 1. I don't even know why Move has 1. Sui has 1, Dot's got 2, Hedera's got 2, AVAX has 2, Doge has 3, Litecoin has 3, Solana has 5, and XRP has double that with 10. So there's a whole lot of people that are filing for those XRP ETFs. There's already a 2x leveraged one, and it would just make sense for a spot one to be next because there's also a futures one launching on the 31st of April. So it would just make sense for that to happen. Oh no. There it goes. It froze. Where was it? There was something else. Oh, maybe it was over here. Yeah, I lost it. Also, the other thing I wanted to point out was that BNB just did a burn for $1 billion, 916 million. I'm not a big BNB fan, but they do this every quarter. So it's a little bit interesting. It might be one of the ways that BNB manages to stay on top all the time, other than Binance actually buying their token. So yeah. Good stuff, though. Good stuff. It's good to see that at least some tariff things are starting to be resolved. And, we're finding out some other things. I don't know. This China thing is going to probably take a while to kind of pan out. I don't really see them coming to a quick conclusion with how everything's going. And then also, overall, I think Bitcoin's pretty bullish right now. It's been coming up. We're still holding a bullish market structure. We broke the first trend line of 2025. I don't have a post for that, but Bitcoin broke a trend line and for the first time in 2025. And in the past, when this happens, a rally does, follow. Right now, just so much hangs in the balance due to economic uncertainty and the tariff situation. Now we have more tariff escalation. Seems like every other day, every 3 days, we have more tariff escalations. So yeah, it's pretty dicey out there. Yo, good morning, Ron Paul. Happy to see you there. Um, Other than that, that's about all I've really got for this morning. I'm open to doing some questions. If anybody has any questions, I also know this is my first time streaming on the arena. So many of you may not know me over there. So feel free to ask me any questions. Otherwise, I'll just kind of hang out for a few and yeah, before I got to go. I got like 10 minutes I can hang out. Stop this. Let's see. Cam Rule asked, you followed me. Will I follow you back? Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll follow you back. There's got to be an easy way to do it. I will follow you back. I had some good AVAX news that I shared in stream yesterday morning, but unfortunately, it did not send to the arena like I was trying to. Good morning, Ronnie. I'm doing well, sir. How about yourself? Thank you, Relax. Happy you enjoyed. Hopefully you understood, but if you need anything clarified, just let me know. I tried to run through it a bit quick. You know, it's early. Not everybody has a lot of time in the morning, so for me it's actually 7:30 in the morning. Oh, it looks like there's a tipping party going on. Am I bullish or bearish? I am bullish. I'm very bullish right now. Incredibly bullish. Where am I from? I am from the United States. Good morning, Soycott. Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Relax, you're also bullish. It's good to hear. It's a good time to be bullish right now. Soycott, I am doing well. Thank you very much. It's a good day. You guys got any altcoins you're keeping your eyes on? You picking up any memes, anything like that? I'm a big meme degenerate. It's just not a great time to be talking about it right now. But got some meme coins at good pickup spots. Toshi's at a good pickup spot. There we go, Camero. I finally got you followed back. Love for Bangladesh. Hey, I want to go to Bangladesh. I would love to go. No hate on Bangladesh, that's for sure. The streaming setup on the arena is pretty slick. Pretty slick indeed. One day I will make it there, Ronnie. Without a doubt. I'm going to be doing these shows every morning, Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. So you guys can set your calendar reminders on repeat because you never want to miss them. Trust me, you don't want to miss them. I dive into gems, altcoins, a lot of Bitcoin coverage right now, especially while the market's not so hot. But as things are starting to bottom out, going to be looking at a lot more altcoins, especially. You are also from Bangladesh? Wow, lots of Bangladesh in here. Ron Paul says he'd love a deep dive into the arena token. I love the arena, but the tokenomics scare me a little bit as there's still plenty of unlocks unbound or inbound. I could definitely do that. Let me put it on a list. I will dive into the arena. I've got a couple tokens on that list. So what I kind of want to do, I don't know, Ron, do you think I should do that in a stream or should I just put out a video? I'm open to either. I like streaming because I get to hang out with you guys. Can definitely do that, Ron Paul. I'll plan on doing that one of these evenings here. First, I've got to do my research and due diligence, but then I'll do an evening stream diving into some altcoins. Let's do it. How's the quality on the arena? Is the stream quality good? It looks like I'm losing some quality on YouTube actually. Hey Kaushik, good morning. Hope you're doing well. See, let's check in how the market's doing right now. Hey, NFT, good morning. Let's see how the market is looking. Looks like I'm dropping some frames on the arena too. Streaming to two different platforms at once separately is proving to be not great. Where here we are. Okay, yeah. So on Bitcoin, we're still hanging around this 83.7 mark. Not a whole lot of movement. Let's hide these indicators for now. Yeah, still not a whole lot of movement, but right where we were yesterday morning, basically when I streamed. So not a whole lot of movement there. Um, let's see. Let's look at AVAX. Since we're streaming on the arena, we might as well look at AVAX, right? Gonna add that in there. What else do we want to add in? Oh wait, there it is. AVAX hanging around 1884 on the 4 hour. Let's turn on these indicators though and see how it's looking. Oh, it's quite a bit below the moving average and these bullish bearish bands. So, AVAX still has some reclaiming to do. We definitely like to see it get above these stair steps here. This is a moving average. We want to see it reclaim there and kind of hold to start some bullish continuation again. Um, After it had this nice little run up from, well, actually all the way down here, like $14, the it did actually flip bullish again, but unfortunately at this peak it kind of went bearish. So needed to reclaim that. It's not all about price. It's just what a lot of people want to hear about. ADA looks a lot the same. A lot of these altcoins look very similar right now. They're all just kind of following Bitcoin. Then there's gold. It's just going sky high. It's crazy. Crazy gold trade. Hey, Asif, good morning. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Kamrul asks, what do I do in real life? This. This is what I do in real life. I work in crypto 24/7. I work for Cryptos R Us. So the COO of Cryptos R Us, I manage all of our operations, content direction, and things like that. About a year ago, I started to stream as well. So I've got a YouTube channel I stream on. I also am starting to stream here on the arena. And I've got another YouTube channel, well, it's not mine, but that I do car reviews on. So this is what I do all day, every single day. Crypto markets is all I live. All right, we're gonna get off gold. Don't really care about gold. Dinosaur. See on a lower time frame how we're looking. On that lower time frame, we're still looking pretty solid. Kind of bouncing off this EMA. That's good. That's good. AVAX could be in kind of a similar situation here. It's trying to reclaim above it on it just fell under it on the hourly. So overnight here, but we are getting a DCA signal on the hourly. Unfortunately, it doesn't really correspond to a higher time frame. Yeah, we still haven't gotten one on this higher time frame. The daily, it's about the same. Yeah. But it looks like on the hourly, we could be seeing a nice little bounce back up for AVAX. That'd be good. There's been some super bullish AVAX news recently, so I'd love to see AVAX have a good bounce. I'm very bullish on Avalanche. All right. Well, guys, I think that about wraps it up for me this morning. I do appreciate all of you for tuning in. It was a great morning stream. I got to meet some new great people over here on the arena, and I appreciate that. As always, though, if you like the content, feel free to smash the like, subscribe to the channel, because of course I will be back tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. with another stream for you. If you have anything specific you want to hear, drop it in the comments as well, and I'll make sure to check that out too. Otherwise, I'll see you later. Maybe I'll see you tonight if something crazy happens, but tomorrow morning for sure. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.